Welcome back to another video. Thank you guys for tuning in. Today, I am going to be teaching you how to use something like Ideogram or another AI to create nameplates for your HueForges. This is something that I've really enjoyed doing. It's something that I offer my Patreons or my patrons over on Patreon, and they have really enjoyed it. And it just adds another level of uniqueness to your HueForges. So I am not a tutorial guy. I'm not very good at it. So be patient with me. I appreciate you guys. Let's dive right in. Okay, so you guys can see that I am here in Ideogram. Ideogram is one of my favorite AI tools when it comes to text. Yes, I know ChatGPT just got a huge update, and I know Midjourney has also gotten a pretty good update, but this here is just, it's just unbeatable. It is just too good. And you can see that I have generated several different types of nameplates. The most important thing when it comes to any AI is your prompts. This is not a video on how to create a prompt, but I'll give you a template that I use for Ideogram, and I'll actually paste it down in the description below so that you can have access to the template that I use, and then hopefully you can use that to kind of create your own Ideogram prompts. But today we're working on Hercules from Disney, a heroic myth-inspired nameplate reading Hercules in strong, chiseled lettering with Greek-style and embellishments. There it is. Embellish, that's a penalty in hockey. Bold lines, monochrome, black and white, vibrant orange accents, no background or extra imagery. This is very important, because you can even see here, it's trying to give a background to some of these. We don't want that. We want something a bit more plain, kind of like this here, right? So these are the ones that I've gotten. I really like this one. So I think I'm going to download that one. Then I also think I'm going to download this one. And then I'm going to show you why this one is hard to work with. And so we will download that one. All right. Once you have this downloaded, we are going to head over to Canva to work on our image. We are in Canva here. We have our Hercules image right here. I'm going to show you guys with an example of why this one won't work first, and then we will move on to the ones that I think will work really well. So here is our Hercules nameplate. Background remover, it is a free tool in Canva. If you know how to remove the background from other images and other softwares, that's great. Do that. This is just so much easier than loading up Photoshop, removing the background, and kind of like tracing it. I don't like it. It takes too much time. And so I try to use the background remover. Now, when we do this background remover here, you see our problem. We have lost our text inside because it deemed that as part of the background. Now, there are several fixes that we could do in order to help kind of get this looking back where we want. And the easiest one is going to be the rectangle. Now, I'm probably not going to use this, but we will give it a shot and see if we like it. So I want to fill in as much of that as possible. We want to move it backwards, behind, and we want to make that white. Okay, so you can already tell that we're getting a little bit better here, but we definitely need another one. And so what you will essentially end up doing is kind of placing triangles, or not triangles, rectangles behind the lettering, so that you can get backwards a non-transparent version of the lettering here. I want to make sure that that is right there. Okay. Elements, we're going to add another one. The S is going to be a little tricky here. And if you want to do it this way, you have the freedom to. In fact, I think I like this style of lettering more, so we may end up even just keeping this when we go to print, send backwards. Okay. We want to see how that looks. Now, One thing we want to do is we just want to go ahead, select all of it, and we want to group it so that when we move this around, we now have a non-background removed Hercules. And actually, oh, I did not, we're missing part of our triangle here. So we're going to put it back real quick. I'm going to add one more. I keep saying triangle. Oh my goodness. See, this is why I don't do tutorials. We're going to go white. We're going to send this back. And then we're going to group it. Okay. And then it looks like the S is also in need of a rectangle. We're going to put it over here just so that I can see it. Or square, whatever you want to call it. I feel like I did this, but Canva is not the best at it. And so I have a feeling I'm the problem, and it really wasn't anything else. Okay, so this is where I say like the S is gonna give us some difficulty. I'm going to first, we're gonna just try and move it to see, because I mean, we might just put it over here on, we might just put it over where it's already white, and we don't even need to add. Like here, you wouldn't even be able to tell that there's no rectangles behind it. And so we're going to put it here. You can kind of tell. And so we're going to create two super tiny rectangles in order just to fill that space. And like I said, these videos are just kind of real. I'm not doing a ton of editing on them like I used to do on my old videos. And so if you find this really boring, I'm really sorry. If you find this awesome, drop a like. I really appreciate it. It would mean the absolute world to me. Okay. Boom. Now we got Hercules looking good. Now, one thing that you'll see, you can't really see it because my camera's blocking it, is we have this kind of like signature thing right here that I don't really love. And so one last time, we're just going to plop that right there. We're going to make it white, and then you would never know that there was a signature there. Just so you guys on YouTube know, that's not a artist signature. That is from just the prompt that I used to generate this image here. We will do a full video on what image generation looks like and how you can use it to create cool images like this one. Download. So when we click download, these settings here are pretty important. We want to make sure that we download it as a PNG. You almost always want to download as a PNG for HueForge. Current page, this is where I stack all of my images. I just keep it in one Canva kind of project, and so we want to download it just this page so that we don't download a whole folder of stuff. And then we click download, and it will do its thing. And now it's time to hop into HueForge. So let's hop over there. Okay, so we are in HueForge now, and first things first is we need to drag in our image. Now, it already looks pretty good. I'm already pretty happy with how this looks. Obviously, the picture on the right is our original image. The picture on the left here is our HueForge image. Check out some videos here. I'm going to link a couple ones that I've done and a couple other creators in the description below if you want some more just guidance on what HueForge is and how to best use it. First things first, though, is we want to drag in the colors that we are going to be using. Now, I use exclusively Bamboo Lab filaments, and so we are going to drag in our pumpkin orange into our bar here. And since we are switching to ColourPop, we are going to want to put orange on the top and white there in the middle. You can tell that we are on standard mode here, and we want to swap over to ColourPop. All right, ColourPop, I have a whole tutorial on it. I'll link that one as well. As I mentioned in that tutorial, ColourPop is basically creating two different HueForges. So we have a bottom HueForge, which is the black, grays, and whites. Then we have the top HueForge, which is the color that we want to bring out. And so you can see that we have this here. This little dividing line is the division line between the bottom HueForge and the top HueForge. So we want to bring it above our whites because that is where that bottom HueForge is going to end and where the top one is going to begin. And then we just want to bring down our tolerance by quite a bit. Not that far. That looks terrible. But we've all been there. Okay. All right. Right here. Okay. I think this looks pretty good. Now you can tell here we have some like not great looking things. One thing that we can try is go to spike removal, click fast, and then come to smoothing and smooth it out just a little bit. It's not doing a ton, probably smoothing there on 10. And we want to bring our grays up just a tad. We definitely want the grays up here in the crown to kind of pop. We want the orange to be as absolutely saturated as possible. We want our Hercules to be looking good there. Perfect. Okay. This is our HueForge. All you need to do is file, save project as. You should have your folders organized. Please organize your folders. Don't just toss it into your downloads folder. That is bad. And I will save this as Hercules, create a folder for him, and then Herc. I keep all of the prints that I still need to print in a folder itself, and then once I print them, I move them to a new folder to mark that they've been printed and completed. Once they're uploaded to MakerWorld, they're archived, and so I'll throw them onto an old hard drive. I won't touch it. If I need my files at any point, I'll just access them from MakerWorld. Okay, I did want to go back to our Canva really quickly just to show you the other two nameplates that we downloaded, so that you can have a good kind of idea of what they looked like. I'm going to drag in this one, and I'm going to drag in this one. That's the same one. This one, that's the same one as well. This one. There it is. Okay. So I want to drag in these two because I did like these styles, and these would potentially work really well, especially this one here. This one, we may actually run into the same problem that we ran into with this one, and so figure we would give it a shot. So we will start with this one up here. We're going to hit background remover. Again, it is a Canva premium tool. If you don't have it, I'm sorry. You should invest in it if you're wanting to make money with HueForge. It is easy, it is cheaper than Photoshop, and it does everything you need, and honestly a little bit better. Okay, we're gonna get rid of this one really quickly. So now we have this. I am going to just copy that, get rid of it for a second, and we are going to toss this in here. Okay, I do like this as well. I think this looks really, really good. One thing that I do like to do is I will click edit up here and then come to adjust. I know it's hard for you guys to see. Let me just drag this over really quickly so that you guys can see what I'm working on over here. Okay, so I will click adjust, and I will just edit the color temperature here of the image just to try as best to match this orange. It shouldn't be any problem because this is kind of the only color that's kind of coming out, and so I don't foresee there being a problem, but I wanted to try and get it as close as possible so we don't run into any problems later. If there's another color, we want to desaturate the mess out of it. All right, now in this case it showed another color. It's not really another color, it's highlighting the orange, so we don't really need to bother with it. And that right there is our Hercules with this nameplate. I'm going to go ahead and do the same exact thing. I'm going to download this, and we're going to toss it into HueForge and see which one we like better. We are in HueForge. Now, the nice thing about this is that we shouldn't have to edit too much at all. I've already done the hard work, and now it's just about dropping it in there. Okay, so we definitely want it to be a bit more saturated. And so we might play with the color or with the brightness adjust by a little bit. And here is the second one. Now, if I had to be honest, I will probably stick with the first one, mainly because this is going to be kind of a pain for our 3D printer to work with, keeping these lines nice and clean and secure. Unless you're working with like a 0.02 nozzle, it's not really worth it in my opinion. I personally like this image just a lot better. I like that font, I like that typeface, I like the highlights on it, and so I think we're gonna go with this one. And the other one's good, it's just not quite there. Guys, a lot about HueForge is just playing around with it. You got to try it, you got to see what works, you got to see what doesn't, and you got to be creative. You got to try and find creative solutions to the problems that you're facing. I love the nameplates. I did them for my Pokemon edition, you know, HueForge prints, and everyone seemed to really enjoy them. And so I will offer this one to our patrons. Usually what I'll do is on Maker World, they will receive just the blank copy, and then I will offer the one with the nameplate to my patrons on Patreon. They have the option between both. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning into today's video. Thank you so much to all my patrons that support me and keep me going. I think we just hit 20 patrons and like 80 free members, and so that's incredible. Thank you guys so much. If you're interested in selling these designs, taking them to markets, helping them create your 3D business, check out my Patreon. I got merchant licenses. It is just $12 a month, and you can sell one of these posters for $25. So boom, you pay off 2 months in one poster. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will catch you guys in the next video. Again, reference the description for all the things, all the links, and I will catch you guys later. That was a really bad outro.